Chelsea fans, welcome back to Talking Chelsea, welcome back to your Chelsea news. The first summer transfer window is officially open. Akinfenwa shares his views on Liam Delap to Chelsea. Chelsea now know who they're going to be playing in the group stages of the Club World Cup. A price tag has been revealed for Garnacho, and we finally learn the truth for Victor Osimhen to Chelsea. Now, of course, I'll be giving my own thoughts and opinions on everything that's been reported, but more importantly, I want to know what you guys think down below in the comments.
And before we get into the video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe if you are a Chelsea fan who enjoys Chelsea content. We're on the road to 10k by the end of 2025.
Kicking things off, the mini transfer window is officially open due to the clubs participating in the FIFA Club World Cup. It ends on the 10th of June and will close for 5 days before reopening again from the 16th of June to the 1st of September. Chelsea fans, I'm so excited. I'm so excited because Chelsea have saying for months and months that they are targeting key areas of the squad to improve, that they are trying to get as much business done before the Club World Cup starts. And that's such a short window. Personally, I have no idea why it's opening, shutting, and then opening again. Why not just have a longer window? That makes more sense in my opinion, because it gives everyone else a chance to kind of compete within that first portion of the window. But they've decided to split it up for the teams participating in the Club World Cup. I suppose it is what it is, but for Chelsea fans, this is exciting stuff because things from today are going to ramp up to 11 when it comes to the rumours and how Chelsea are going to move in the market, players having their price tags revealed, negotiations, agent fees. There's going to be so much going on. And for a club like Chelsea who want to compete well in the Club World Cup, we've already made the signing of Liam Delap. His medical is today as of recording, so that's going to be put over the line. And officially the first signing of the window for Chelsea Football Club. However, it's going to be very exciting to see who else Chelsea are going to pursue in this first mini window before it closes. Then we have the Club World Cup. Obviously, rumours are still going to be flying around, but we have some football to enjoy and a very, in my opinion, exciting competition because it's been reformatted, revamped. It's done at the end of the season. I'm very, very excited to watch it happen and see some players from a lot of clubs. Obviously, we get to see William Esteval playing for Palmeiras. We're going to see Liam Delap in his first sort of few games in a Chelsea shirt. We're going to have some loanees that are coming back as well, like Petrovic and Andre Santos, and Asugo can play and things like that. So I think it's just a very interesting and exciting month ahead of football. And the fact that the window's open just opens up a full can of worms when it comes to the transfer cycle going absolutely wild. So if you're not already, make sure you leave a like on this video because it helps the channel so much. And also subscribe for daily Chelsea content because the news is going to go through the roof in the next few months. It has officially been announced that LAFC will join Chelsea's group at the 2025 FIFA Club World Cup. And that means that Chelsea's group is now locked in. On the 16th of June, we play LAFC. On June the 20th, we play Flamengo. And on June 24th, we play ES Tunis. Now, look, like I just said previously, I'm excited for the Club World Cup. It's not a pre-season tournament, but it is at the same time. There is a lot of money to be won in the Club World Cup. FIFA have really tried to make people care about this competition. And in the old format where you had the winners of the Super Cup and other Champions Leagues around the world, it was kind of like you cared about it if you were in it. I always did. I was like, this is amazing. Chelsea are crowned world champions. But the way that they've reformatted it, it's every 4 years, I believe. And you've got the coefficient, the backdates. Yes, we're in there from 2021 rather than right now. So it kind of feels like we're not really meant to be there. But they had to have a cut-off point. We were involved in it. Amazing. It's a chance for us to gain some money financially because the amount of money that the prize pool within this whole competition is absolutely unbelievable. And we've got some of the best teams, if not, well, the best teams from around the world. PSG will be going into the Club World Cup after that absolute demolishing of Inter Milan in the Champions League final last night. I'm just excited. This is the group that we're going to be playing. I think it's a nice variety of teams. I think it's definitely one of the easiest groups because you've got the likes of Bayern Munich, PSG, Real Madrid, Man City, all in this competition as well. So it's going to be very interesting to see how far Chelsea can go, how other teams kind of play within this competition, how serious they're going to take it. FIFA were demanding and threatening a lot of fines for not fielding the strongest squad or just not taking it seriously because they've put so much money into it that they need it to work. And I saw a debate, I think it was on DL Sports a few days ago, talking about will it ever be a prestigious trophy? And they made some very good points about how, history and heritage makes a trophy. And I feel like this could be a really big start point for the Club World Cup going forward, the way that they've reformatted it. Almost like literally a World Cup of the best teams in the world. I think, you go fast forward 15, 20 years. I think this has potential to be one of the biggest competitions that people want to be in. And I think it's just a nice way of reformatting something which originally felt like a formality. You know, I think the English teams get a bye in the first round, and then you go to the semis, and then you basically have to play 2 games to then win the Club World Cup. And again, if your team's not in it, you don't really care about it. And I totally get that. When your team's in it, you want to win it because it's a trophy. So I think that the way that they reformulated it made it more of a tournament rather than like a... Well, I mean, it was a tournament before. It was more knockout. Like I said, you played a couple games, that was it. But some clubs would play 3, 4, 5 games within that to then get to the position to play the European champions who had a bye most of the way through it. So I think with this new format, it's going to be really, really interesting to see how it plays out. And I'm just super excited. I just love watching Chelsea play football. I think this is an interesting tournament, the way that FIFA have gone about it. So yeah, I'm just super excited. I'd love to know your thoughts down below about how well do you think Chelsea will do in the Club World Cup? Do you think the Club World Cup will actually go on to become a prestigious trophy in the next sort of 15, 20 years when it has a bit of history and heritage? Do you feel like the teams are going to play full out, they're going to put their full strength in, or do you think they're going to try and field some sort of second 11s or try and be clever to preserve their players for the next season because of the timing of when this is? Very curious to know your thoughts. Now, recently on TalkSport, Akinfenwa was on there and he was speaking about Liam Delap, and this is what he said, and I found this very interesting. I think he's got that Diego Costa sort of vibe about him in regards to you're going to know he's there. So I think it's very, very good business. I think 30 million for Delap is very good business. When you've got somebody who are talking about potential, they're talking about being a Harry Kane replacement for England, about a proper number 9. I don't understand how Arsenal didn't buy. Now again, I like Akinfenwa. I think he's a very balanced sort of thinking mind in the football world. And I like listening to him talk about football. You know, I think he's a Liverpool fan. Obviously, he had a very iconic cult, sort of like pop culture, culty, career. You know, a lot of people know him obviously through KSI and the YouTube world, and you know, he was just been like a cult status of like lower league football. I think he's great, right? And he's just funny. But when he talks about Liam Delap here, I agree to a point, but he's also given me a new insight. I've never really looked at him as like a Diego Costa vibe. So like it's given me a different perspective. And I don't know if you guys feel like he has that potential of just being a guy that's always there, that's powerful, that can, you know, bully defenders, finish from anywhere. Now, those types of traits I do get, but I would never have compared him to someone like Diego Costa. However, when we signed Diego Costa, we didn't really know too much about him. He had an okay season from where we bought him from, but he come to the Premier League and absolutely destroyed it. Now, we've seen Delap in the Premier League. We've seen him play for Ipswich. And I know that he is still very divisive among Chelsea fans, and it will be divisive until we see him play in a Chelsea shirt, which is why I'm hoping he has a very good Club World Cup along with Chelsea, because it will just be very interesting to see how he fits into Maresca's system, what style of play he's going to, you know, what role he's going to be. Is he going to be on the last shoulder of a solid number 9? Is he going to be a target man? Is he going to be someone that is very similar to Jackson in terms of making those runs out from out wide and different channels coming in? Because Delap can do it all. And I totally agree that 30 million is fantastic business. £30 million is nothing in today's money for a player of his quality. He did score like 12 goals, got a couple of assists for a team that did get relegated. And yeah, look, I've said this till I'm blue in the face. If you're scoring that amount of goals, the variety of goals that he scored last season for a team that doesn't necessarily create too much and did get relegated very early on in terms of the, you know, the standings of the league, you then stick him in a Chelsea team where we are crying for someone who could just finish their dinner. And the amount of chances we create, I think it's like second or third in Europe this season for the amount of chances we created. I think it's just, it's a good recipe, right? And again, time will tell. He could do very, very well for Chelsea. He could do very, very poorly for Chelsea. And I still think Chelsea will go in the market for a second striker. The question I'm asking, though, is are they going to do it before the Club World Cup or after? I feel like now they might do it after the Club World Cup to give themselves a little bit more time. They can focus on key areas of the signings they want to make before the Club World Cup. And then after, it's kind of like, right, we've got our key signings from all our key areas before the Club World Cup. After, we've got this big portion of time. Do we go in for that clinical, elite, experienced striker as a, you know, to come in as the big name? Do we do it on the left wing? Do we do it in the centre back position? I don't know. I think they're going to try and buy their time where they can. Like I said, there's been many reports that they want to be super aggressive, and that they're going on as they mean to. They're trying to finish how they mean to start, or whatever the phrase is, by signing Delap straight away. Officially, the window opens today. His medicals today. That will be done. Pen on paper, finished, and that just shows me that they have such an intent this summer. And with the reinforcements we're having coming in for the Club World Cup, it's going to be super exciting to be a Chelsea fan. So, do you agree with what Akinfenwa said about the whole Diego Costa vibe about him? Like I said, it's a new perspective for me. Obviously, looking at it as a Harry Kane replacement, potentially. I think it's because he's English and he's a striker and he can score a variety of goals. I do think he could bully defenders. He can be a handful. He tore our defence apart twice across the season. He didn't even play for most of that game at the Bridge, but when he come on, he had a very good game. And then when we were played at their place, he tore us apart. Absolutely tore us apart. So I have a very good feeling about Delap in a Chelsea shirt. But I'm very curious to know your thoughts. Do you see him as that Diego Costa vibe? Do you think Chelsea are going to go in for that second striker? Do you think he'll be, ultimately, do you think he'll flop at Chelsea or do very well? The Guardian have reported that Alejandro Garnacho is expected to cost around £40 million if Manchester United allow him to leave. With Napoli, who tried to sign him in January, thought to be early frontrunners, Chelsea have also been monitoring his situation. I have said this so many times, but it's nice to finally have a price tag around Garnacho. There were rumours in January Chelsea were really interested, really trying to push for Garnacho, and United wanted £60 million for him. And I understand why they've reduced their price. I think Garnacho has kind of tarnished his time at United with these post-match interviews after the Conference League, and all these sort of bits. His brother posting on Instagram about like how he's helped him get to the final and he's playing like 20 minutes. Like, I get it, as a player, it's going to be very frustrating to not play as many minutes as you want, especially when you feel like you've helped your team a lot more, right? I totally get that. That makes a lot of sense. However, there's a time and a place, and putting on Instagram is not the time or place. And going publicly and saying like, yeah, I should have played more, I'm the guy, I'm him, you're going to rub people up the wrong way. So £40 million, I think Amorim has done a fantastic job in terms of going, right, yeah, we don't want you, bro. Like, we don't want you, we don't want you, we don't want you. This summer, you're gone. We're going to buy some new players. I think that's very cutthroat, and I appreciate and respect that from any manager, really. From Amorim specifically, I can't talk today, because he knows that this club, or that his 11 needs heart surgery. So he's like, I need to get rid of these players. I need to start signing people that I need in this profile. Garnacho to Chelsea, I do not want to see. I really do not want to see. And this is just me personally. I would love to know your thoughts down below about Garnacho to Chelsea. Would you take him? Because look, even for 40 million, all right, he might be a good signing, but there's something about him I'm just not convinced about because he's so young. He's had glimpses of being absolutely class, and he's also had glimpses of being young still, and very inconsistent. And I feel like Chelsea are at the position now where we need to inject that experience to then go to the next level. I'm not saying that we have to ditch youth, because I don't think we ever will, and we will also be buying these gems from other parts of the world and trying to, make advantage or take advantage of these opportunities that crop up for sure. But I really just don't see Garnacho for 40 million as that opportunity. Now, I feel like Garnacho would rather go to somewhere like Napoli. I think he would do very well in Serie A, very well in La Liga, those types of leagues. And I think it'll be very good for his career to develop even more. He'll have more time on the ball, he can showcase what he can do. There's less stress on the defensive side of it for the wingers, as we've seen from, even when we played Betis and the likes of Anthony and other wingers that have gone over there from the Premier League who have done very, very well. I think that he would follow suit, and I think it'd be very good for his development. I just don't want to see Chelsea pay 40 million for Alejandro Garnacho. I really, really don't. I just don't see how he fits in. Yes, we need someone on that left-hand side. We're in talks with Jadon Sancho's agents to see if we can reduce his wages, because he's obviously impressed at Chelsea and we want to keep him. That doesn't mean we just want to sign everyone from United, It's like linking us to Rashford because they don't want Rashford anymore. Obviously, they didn't want Sancho. We've had a try before you buy with him, and we're like, yeah, we'll take him as long as he reduces his wages. Can't imagine Garnacho accepting lower wages either, because I've said this in previous videos. When you play for a club like Manchester United, one of the perks is you get paid well. And Chelsea have got this new incentivised wage structure where players are on a lower wage, and if they play well, they get paid more. I don't know if it's within Garnacho's personality to be able to swallow his ego and go, all right, I'll take a pay cut and I'll prove to you why I need to be on X amount a week. Now, I could be horribly wrong, and I'm always happy to be proved wrong. That's just my thoughts and opinions on Garnacho from what I've seen. I've seen him have glimpses of moments of magic, like bicycle kicks and some of the goals he scored. We've also seen him being a kid, and I'm just not sold on him. I think he's got a lot of talent and a lot of potential, but I genuinely feel like going to somewhere like Napoli would be unbelievable. Him playing under Conte, I think he would do very, very well in that style of system and that type of play, Because, again, I think he has got a lot of potential. I just don't want to see Chelsea spend £40 million on him. So let me know your thoughts below about Garnacho to Chelsea for £40 million. Would you take him? Do you not think he's good enough? Do you think he actually has potential to go on and have an incredible career somewhere else? Do you feel like Napoli may be a good move for him? CF Bayern have reported that at the moment, Chelsea, who qualify for the Champions League in 4th place, hold the best cards in Ekitike's poker. Chelsea are already in dialogue with the player's side and things could soon get serious, but Liverpool are also still in the race. I just wanted to touch on this briefly because Ekitike is not going away in terms of the rumours and how heavily linked Chelsea are and Liverpool are. Like I just said previously in this video, I feel like once the Club World Cup starts, Chelsea's going to kind of slow down a little bit, put their focus into that, and then once it's finished, whether we finish early or go quite far in the competition, Chelsea are going to reassess their situation there, in my opinion. That's what I feel like they're going to do. Ekitike, the more that I read about him, watch about him, look into him, he is a good forward. He just is a good striker. Like I've always said, the only issue that I have, or not issue, but my only concern is his lack of pace. Can he kind of adapt around that compared to other forwards we're linked with? And obviously playing in the Bundesliga, for Chelsea, it's never really converted for a Bundesliga player coming into the Premier League. You got to look like the looks of Nkunku, Havertz, Werner. It's just not really translated well. Obviously, they've had moments, they've had spells, but not as consistent as what Chelsea Football Club are needing right now to go to the next level. He would be an incredible impact signing to have in the squad to rotate with Delap, in my opinion. I just think he would. The dynamism, the differences between the two allows Maresca to play different styles in that front three when you look at the players surrounding them as well in the wide areas. But if I'm being honest, if Chelsea going for a second striker, I want a Gyökeres, I want an Osimhen. They're the two that, look, they're going somewhere this summer, and I want Chelsea to be in amongst it. I want Chelsea to be one of the destinations of one of those players, in my opinion, because this window is the window where we get it done. I just feel like it has to be. It's now or never. It's now or never. You've got Liverpool heavily interested in Ekitike, Arsenal heavily interested in trying to do negotiations with Sesko. It leaves Osimhen and Gyökeres open. It's open season. They're there. It's targets. Go for them. Do what you can to secure them. If it still doesn't work out after you've tried negotiating, fair enough. We can't argue about that as fans because at least we tried. But to just leave them and not do anything, again, it might be more of a chess play that after the Club World Cup, see what the situation's like, and if the opportunity is right, boom, pounce on them, rather than trying to secure them before the Club World Cup when you've just signed a number 9 for 30 million. Because someone made a very good point online of like, Chelsea bought Delap because at the moment, Delap goes, I walk into that team, I compete with Jackson, but I am going to be the number 9 as long as I can keep him out of the team. You then go sign Gyökeres, he's going to go, well, hang on a minute, you've just signed me to play, and these are the promises you've made, and now you've just signed Gyökeres, who's an absolute goal machine, or an Osimhen, who's an absolute goal machine. Great, I'm now already the backup striker, as long as I can prove that I'm better than Jackson. And then Jackson's going to be like, cool, you brought not just one striker, but you bought 2. I'm just not going to play unless I play left wing, right? I think it really rattles the environment. Obviously, we don't know what's been said to these players. So if you buy like an Ekitike, then that's like, cool, great player, but someone else to compete with for that number 9 spot. So like, I think there's just a lot of dynamics going on. So I feel like after the Club World Cup, we'll hear a lot more whether Chelsea are going to pursue Ekitike or Liverpool. I think Ekitike would do fantastic at a club like Liverpool. I think he'd do well at Chelsea, but I think he'd do even better at a club like Liverpool in slot sort of system and the way that he wants the team to play. I know this sounds weird, but he looks like a Liverpool player. Obviously, we know that Liverpool are heavily in for Wirtz as well at the moment, so they're being very active in the transfer window. They won the Premier League. They've got loads of pull, massive club. We're just looking to strengthen in certain areas. And look, I suppose any striker looking at Chelsea who they link with, they go, well, they need a number 9 so bad that I could just absolutely clean up here and get loads of goals. But I'm curious to know your thoughts on Ekitike. The more that this goes on, the more that you guys learn about him. Do you still rate him as a striker? Do you feel like Chelsea should leave Ekitike? Because they are asking for around £84 million. Yes, a variable payment structure they are happy with doing over a multitude of years, but it's still a lot of money when you've got the likes of Osimhen and Gyökeres for about 60 to 65 million euros available this summer, who still technically fit within this young squad because they're like 26 years old, which is right on the cusp of this whole 25-year-old thing, right? So very curious to know your thoughts. And finally, we're going to discover the truth about Victor Osimhen to Chelsea, why it's being pushed so much by the likes of this gentleman at Mr. P Square, as well as John Obi Mikel, and obviously Chelsea still being heavily interested in him. This did the rounds yesterday. A lot of people covered it, but it came out like after I'd uploaded my video, so I want to put it into this video. I think this is so interesting to talk about. But Mr. P Square seems to be like a big music artist who's got a lot of respect and is good friends with Mr. Osimhen. But he was tweeting, he went on a bit of a thread, we're going to go through them, where he said, "Dear Chelsea fans, last summer both John Obi Mikel and I made every effort to secure the signing of Victor Osimhen for Chelsea, including engaging in a three-way call right up until the transfer deadline. I want to reassure all of you that we remain steadfast in our pursuit and will continue our efforts this summer, fingers crossed," with like an emoji, #AgentP. Now, I find this super interesting for many, many reasons, because the Victor Osimhen to Chelsea thing just hasn't died out. It still sticks around. Every window comes about. It's like, Chelsea got to sign Osimhen. It's got to happen. It's got to happen. You know, Victor Osimhen's boyhood club was Chelsea. He looks up to Drogba. He wants to come to Chelsea. He wants to break all the records, wants to be a legend in the Premier League. And then ultimately, it's come down to wages last summer, right? Or, you know, some sort of breakdown. But it's very interesting to get the insight from the other side. We know John Obi Mikel has got a good relationship with him. He's very vocal about trying to push Chelsea and Osimhen together, and basically saying, you know, Chelsea just got to pick up the phone and it's a done deal. You've now got Mr. P Square saying it from another angle of like, yo, we're actually trying to convince him to come to Chelsea, right? This is what we did last summer and we haven't given up our hopes on doing this. But he's actually said some more. He then quote tweeted his original tweet and said, "I didn't say I will single-handedly buy Victor Osimhen. John Obi Mikel and I only did enough to persuade Osimhen to be convinced of joining Chelsea because of our closeness and love for the club. And we will be trying again this summer. Man United fans, hope this helps." That's wild. A little shot at United. This is quite interesting, this thread, because he kind of goes back and forth with people and you know, says, you know, there's a bit of banter there, but there's also, this is what's happened. This is a situation. The only thing that concerns me, and again, this is me playing devil's advocate. The only thing that concerns me, if you've got two people very close to you that have tried all of a summer to convince you to join Chelsea, or convince you to at least think about doing it, does he really want to join Chelsea? Is it really his boyhood club? Now, yes, we've seen pictures of him, you know, supporting Chelsea as a kid, and yeah, that probably is true, right? Chelsea have a massive fan base across Africa because of all the African history in that, and I absolutely love that, by the way. I think there's just such a variety of fans within our fan base, and I absolutely love it. But if you've got two people very close to you trying to convince you to just think about it, do you really want to join? Or is it more of like a last minute thought of like, you know, and then over time, so actually, yeah, all right, I'll listen to what they've got to say. Has he got his heart or mind set on other clubs? You know, this summer, Galatasaray offer him a big contract because they don't want to lose him. He's had a fantastic season there. Saudi could come in at any moment and just be like, here's the money, here's the contract, sign it, done. Like, no one can compete with Saudi, right? So that is always an option. I personally would like to think that Victor Osimhen would turn down Saudi just because he is very young. The pros is he could go there for 3 years, earn the bag, generational wealth, and still go get a big contract at 29 to kind of see out the last years of his career. But I would like to think that if he is going to, you know, this guy's a smart man. He's aware of world football, right? He knows that Chelsea desperately need a 9. We've just signed Delap, who's going to help the squad, but he could come in and be the main man, walk into that team, boom. It's all down to wages. It's whether he's going to be... I feel like there's going to have to be compromises from Chelsea's side and Osimhen's side to even remotely make this work. It's going to be the wage structure. It's going to be... which we're willing to break. It's also the transfer fee, which we're willing to break for the opportunity. But again, there's going to have to be some commitments on Osimhen of like, okay, we'll break our structure, but you still got to reduce it just a little bit. You know, just, you know, meet us in the middle there, at least. The length of the contract, the bonuses, the agent fees. There's a lot that's going to go on with it. But I just felt that this is very, very interesting to see it from a different perspective. That isn't the agent and it isn't Mikel. It's Mr. P Square, who seems to be a very highly respected musician and has a very a big good background and record of being very good friends with Mikel and Osimhen. So just wanted to discuss this with you guys, but there's a few more bits that he has tweeted out. He then tweeted out a picture of Victor Osimhen wearing a Chelsea shirt as a kid, saying his dream team from my childhood has been Chelsea. I'm so loving this football banter today, and then tags Victor Osimhen. And again, like I said, there's pictures, there's well documented that Osimhen is a Chelsea supporter, or was at least at some point in his childhood, and he loves Chelsea, wants to break the records. I'm just hoping that we can get it over the line, you know, because it would be unbelievable. But the last thing that I saw, I just thought was quite funny and also relevant to the Osimhen sort of negotiations. was he quote tweeted someone from called Young Boss, and it said, "Sorry, from his words last week, I also want to be playing football on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, if you know what that means," referring to Osimhen wants to play Champions League football. And the quote tweet was from Osimhen to United: "Here we go soon. We don't hate Chelsea because they are below our standard. We only hate the fact that you guys make too much noise." We ain't even going to dive into that because United don't have Champions League football. They had one of the worst seasons in their history. And now Mr. P Squared's been like, hang on a minute. I last spoke to him. He said he wants to be playing Champions League football. So what makes you think he's going to be going to Manchester United? That isn't going to happen. Again, in the only world I see that happening is if the wages are so good to turn down from Man United that Osimhen's like, Premier League football and I'm getting the bag. Okay. Man United are one of the biggest clubs ever, just historically, right? Right now, they are in the mud. And Chelsea are on the up. So I found the whole thread very interesting from Mr. P Square. Because he's like, well, last time I spoke to him, Osimhen wants to play Champions League football. And I don't blame him, right? Players have certain standards and they, that they don't want to sort of lower. Fans have certain standards as well in terms of the types of players that we go for. But I just thought this was interesting. He's saying, Osimhen wants Champions League football, so Man United are out of the picture. We are going to, me and Mikel are going to do everything we can this summer to continue what we did last summer to convince Osimhen to, go to Chelsea because it is his boyhood club. He has supported them. He wants to break these records. He has the love for it. We have the love for the club. We want to make this happen. Now, as much as it's amazing for content creators and people to discuss, right, and making videos on it, I think it's awesome to have a discussion with you guys. When you look at the professional side of it, the other side, this is a mess. Like, genuinely, this whole thing is a mess. The way that Osimhen rumours and Osimhen transfers have been dealt with historically in the last couple of years have just been so unprofessional and a mess. They are all public. It's scattered everywhere. We actually need to hear what Victor Osimhen himself comes out and says realistically. But again, that very rarely happens. A lot of these conversations happen behind closed doors between clubs and agents and even friends and agents, etc. It's not really said too much. And then what does come out is there's usually an element of truth to it up to a certain degree. So I'm not saying that there isn't an element of truth to this. I'm just saying, like, this, when you really look at the overall sort of rumour mill and what's going to happen with Osimhen over the last summer and this summer already, like just starting in January, it's just a mess, but us Chelsea fans absolutely love it. So I'd love to know your thoughts down below. Do you see Chelsea buying Victor Osimhen this summer window? Because for me, it's the last window of opportunity to do it. I feel if we don't sign him this summer, it's never going to happen, and he will be the biggest what-if player, in my opinion. It's very interesting to hear what Mr. P Square said. It's also very interesting to see what Mikel's been saying over the years as well, or over this season mainly, that it's very much that these two are trying to push Osimhen into Chelsea's corner. Chelsea have never lost interest, but again, it's always been a wage thing. And Osimhen's like, well, this is my boyhood club. Thinking about it more rationally, he needs to be a bit more convinced. Wants to play Champions League, they can do that. It just makes sense to me. If not, for me, it'd be Gyökeres. Because, again, all paths lead to these two strikers, of Victor Osimhen and Victor Gyökeres. Chelsea need to secure one of them, in my opinion, this summer, and then we win the transfer window. We win the transfer window if we do that. So, very curious to know your thoughts down below. Do you see Victor Osimhen to Chelsea happening this summer or never at all? And that's all the latest Chelsea news. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on everything that's been reported down below in the comment section. I love having a conversation with you guys. And if you have watched this video all the way to the end, firstly, you're a real one. And I mean that. You are a real one. But secondly, there'll be a thumbnail appears on the screen. So if you are a Chelsea fan who enjoys Chelsea content, make sure you click that thumbnail because you'll enjoy that video too.